Good evening, I'm Ava, and this is Wnba Trending. Our top story tonight centers on Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation turned franchise cornerstone whose injury status has dominated headlines over the past several weeks. The question on everyone's mind is simple. Is Caitlin Clark playing tonight against the Minnesota Lynx? Unfortunately for Fever fans, the answer remains no. Clark will once again be sidelined as she continues to recover from multiple injuries that have disrupted her season. The update is a frustrating one for fans and the organization alike. Clark, who burst onto the WNBA scene with her scoring, her range, and her undeniable ability to energize both teammates and arenas, has been battling a series of setbacks since July. What started as a groin strain has now been compounded by an ankle bone bruise suffered earlier this month in an individual workout. The Fever medical staff and head coach Stephanie White have been firm in their messaging. There is no timeline for her return, and the team will not risk her long-term health for short-term gains. The latest injury news first broke late last week, when reports confirmed Clark's additional ankle issue. Sources close to the team explained that while she had been making steady progress with her groin recovery, the new bone bruise was an unforeseen complication. For an athlete who relies heavily on mobility, acceleration, and quick cutting, these lower body injuries make rushing back an impossibility. Coach White stated candidly, "Until Caitlin is practicing and showing she's ready, we are status quo." It's a cautious, calculated approach, and one that reflects the value Indiana places on Clark's future with the franchise. Teammates have weighed in as well. Guard Sophie Cunningham, who is also sidelined for the remainder of the year, admitted that Clark's recovery is truly day by day. She told reporters, "She doesn't even know. Literally, it's a day-to-day legit type of thing." That level of uncertainty underscores how delicate the situation remains. This is not simply about soreness or a mild strain. These are injuries that require time, rest, and careful management. Despite her absence, Clark's presence is still felt. During games, she has been highly engaged on the bench, often standing, gesturing, and encouraging teammates. In fact, during one Fever matchup earlier this month, cameras captured Clark so involved in instructing players that she appeared like an assistant coach before head coach Stephanie White playfully motioned for her to calm down. Her passion is unmistakable, and her leadership, even off the court, remains vital to a Fever team struggling to stay afloat in a crowded playoff race. As of now, Indiana sits in 6th place in the standings with a record just above .500. They're hanging on to a postseason spot but face relentless pressure from teams like the Los Angeles Sparks, who trail closely behind. Every game is crucial, and missing Clark is no small blow. She has played in only 13 of the team's 35 contests this season, missing chunks of time not just from her current ailments, but also from a quad injury earlier in the year. What was supposed to be her first full professional campaign has instead become a patchwork season filled with interruptions. For the Fever, this has forced major adjustments. Other guards such as Erica Wheeler and Lexi Hull have been asked to shoulder more responsibility. Meanwhile, the franchise has scrambled to sign replacement players through hardship contracts after also losing veterans Sydney Colson, Ari McDonald, and Sophie Cunningham for the year. It has been a season defined by adversity. And yet, Indiana continues to fight. Despite being shorthanded, the Fever are still in the hunt. The team's young core, which also features standout forward Aaliyah Boston, has shown resilience. They know that if Clark can return healthy before the playoffs, it could change everything. But with the postseason beginning September 14th, the clock is ticking. Speculation about Clark's return date has fueled conversation across the league. ESPN initially projected a possible August 26th comeback, but following the news of her ankle bruise, that target has reportedly been pushed back to September 2nd. These are only estimates, however. The Fever themselves have not provided any concrete date, insisting that they will wait until she is cleared for full practice before considering game action. Fans may be impatient, but the organization is steadfast in its cautious approach. From a broader perspective, Clark's absence highlights just how fragile a WNBA season can be. The league's condensed schedule demands both durability and depth, and when injuries hit hard, as they have in Indiana, the margin for error shrinks dramatically. For the Fever, Every win matters, every loss stings, and the uncertainty surrounding their superstar makes the path to the postseason that much more complicated. Still, there are positives. Clark's competitive fire, her bond with teammates, and her natural leadership have only strengthened during this challenging period. Rather than retreating into frustration, she has remained vocal, visible, and supportive. Fans continue to flock to arenas across the league wearing her jersey, a reminder of the transformative impact she has had on the sport in just her second season. Even in street clothes, Caitlin Clark is a draw. So, where do things stand tonight against the Lynx? Clark will not suit up. She remains unavailable, still working through her rehabilitation and awaiting clearance to return to full-speed basketball activity. The Fever, already tested by injuries and roster turnover, will once again rely on their supporting cast to carry the load. It's an uphill battle against a tough Minnesota squad, but Indiana has no choice but to adapt. For fans wondering if Clark will return in time for the postseason, hope remains alive, though cautious. If the latest projections hold, a September 2nd return would give her nearly 2 weeks to ramp up before the playoffs begin. That scenario could inject new life into the Fever's campaign and restore optimism to a franchise hungry for postseason success. But nothing is guaranteed, and as coach Stephanie White has repeated, Clark's recovery is not about dates, it's about readiness. The Fever's focus now is twofold: keep winning enough to secure their playoff spot, and ensure that Caitlin Clark is 100% healthy when she does step back on the floor. Anything less would risk the long-term vision of a franchise built around one of the brightest stars in basketball. To summarize, Caitlin Clark is not playing tonight against the Minnesota Lynx. She continues to recover from both a groin injury and an ankle bone bruise, with no confirmed timeline for her return. The Fever remain cautious, the fans remain hopeful, and the league continues to watch closely. As the postseason nears, the question of when Clark will be back grows more urgent. But one thing is clear: Indiana will not jeopardize her future for the sake of a single regular season game. That's the latest on Caitlin Clark's injury status. We'll continue to monitor updates and bring you the very latest as the Fever navigate this critical stretch. I'm Ava, and this has been Wnba Trending. Stay tuned for more coverage of the WNBA's biggest stories.